Welcome back, guys. Serious Business Podcast over here. The boy, Jordan Ananiadis, aka Prince Charming.
What's up, guys?
So before we start, we'd just like to give a special thanks to Sherbatov Gyms for allowing us to obviously record our second episode of the podcast in this beautiful gym. You know, a nice cage over here that they have going. Don't be afraid to check themselves out. To check them out, you know, they offer privates, they offer group lessons. You know, they have two locations, one here in Chambly, Laval, and one in Montreal. So check them out on IG. And, let's get right into it.
Yeah, me and Tom actually, just to add on that, me and Tom personally trained here with Jordan. Trained us in the summer, and he killed me, man. That was the nicest shape I was in my life. It's the nicest shape I've ever got into in my life. Tom could agree with that now. Tom still goes.
Yeah, I'm still
Tom
here.
still goes. Me, I
like Pete
stopped.
said, we've been here since the summer, you know. It's going to be about 8 months, you know,
It's
a
gonna be
year soon.
In a few months, it's going to be a year.
No, but I love it. I love it, honestly.
Good.
I'm in the best shape, probably one of the best shapes I've been in my life, you know. And, I'm working out, but at the same time, I'm learning something, you know. Whether I'm learning how to defend myself with boxing, whether I'm learning how to defend myself doing jiu-jitsu. Fucking, I always have a problem.
It's a hard word.
It's a hard word.
Jiu-jitsu is, it's a hard word
BJJ,
to
we'll say
remember.
BJJ. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. But so you're getting a workout and you're learning how to defend yourself. You know, it's a beautiful, beautiful sport.
And all that while having fun too, right? Because you're learning a bunch of new stuff. So
Of course.
there's always something to learn when you're in martial arts, any type of art, any type of sport. There's always something to learn, right? You never stop. There's always new stuff coming around in the game, and
Of course.
it's always evolving. Especially nowadays with MMA, one of the fastest growing sport in the world. With the UFC and everything now, it's
UFC is growing at
it's
an
amazing.
incredible pace, you know. Like, I think 5-10 years ago, you know, we wouldn't even be talking about UFC, but like now, even though I'm really into it now, but even our friends, you know, we'll get together, watch a UFC event, you know, and it's a really good thing for the sport, you know.
just MMA
Awareness.
in general, it became something mainstream. Like I remember a few years ago when I was talking with friends and everything like that at school, asking, "Oh yeah, what sport do you do?" Like I'll give you an example. At one point, one of my teachers I think asked me, "Oh yeah, what sport do you do?" I told him I do MMA. He's like, "What's that?"
Oh wow.
I'm like, I had to precise the UFC, but now I need to understand. I'd say UFC, George St. Pierre. Oh yeah, I know what that is. So, but now it evolved so much, became such a big company and a big name for the sport that they understand the word MMA now. So it's cool. It's amazing how fast the sport has grown.
Oh, it's very good, and
it's good.
The fact I know you've been doing it for a while, so maybe talk a bit about that. How long you've been doing it? You know, I know you have a blue belt in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, so I've been doing MMA for 8 years. In October it's gonna be 9. I've been here all 8 years. In my opinion, I find that when you start somewhere, you finish there. They forged me. They brought me. They basically created me in a sense. So every time I step into a cage or a ring or even on the mat to train, I represent Sherbatov MMA. I represent Yanni. I represent Boris. I represent the Sherbatov name. It's and I love it. In my opinion, you start somewhere. I don't like bouncing around everything. It's you have a structure, you stick to your structure, and So I've been doing this for 8 years. I'm a blue belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I have done a few competitions in Jiu-Jitsu. I have a gold medal and a silver medal. I have a bronze medal in the boxing competition as well. So yeah.
So he's quite credible. He's quite credible. He's quite credible as a
And I
fighter.
think if it wasn't because of COVID, you know, he'd have
Yeah, if it wasn't
a better
because of
record.
COVID, I'd be.
You know,
You'd have
COVID
other
really.
fights that would have taken
Exactly,
place.
so-
to
Of
stop.
course, yeah.
2 years ago when COVID started and everything got shut down for the first time. I was fighting on the Friday. On the Thursday night, I found out that I wasn't fighting. So it's a situation where we're in a pandemic. You know, you can't do. Of course, you're frustrated, but you can't do anything about it. It's government rules. They say they make up the rules, so we have to follow. But it didn't stop me from training. Honestly, I see it as a sign. The fact that I couldn't train maybe would have meant that I wasn't ready to step into a ring.
Okay.
It was a boxing fight.
I believe in that.
It was a boxing fight because I found that I'd be more ready for a boxing fight than an MMA fight. I'd have a better experience. So I find that everything has there's always a sign. If ever you can't step into the octagon, you miss weight, let's say, or I don't know.
Yeah, everything happens
you
for
get
a reason.
You get a flat
you know?
tire on the way to
Yeah.
the gym.
Everything happens for a reason.
Everything happens for a reason, exactly.
It's a superstition.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So maybe, God forbid, I would have got injured. I would have lost. Either way, everything has a meaning to it, and I'm grateful for it. I had more time to train, more time to prepare, and I'm a better fighter because of it. I have more of a structure. I grew up from having my first fight was supposed to be at the age of 16 years old to having it at 18 years old. There's a big gap in maturity and difference and structure, and of course in core strength, because you have your
Discipline.
man strength, and when you're a teenager, you don't have your full strength. It's all about the mental and physical
Yeah,
preparation.
you're more mature, and now you're ready. You're
Exactly.
ready. Hopefully now you're gonna be able to fight more.
Yeah.
COVID restrictions are loosening up
Yep.
in the province of Quebec.
Good news for that, actually. I might even be. There's some competitions opening up at the end of March, and I'm most probably going to be jumping into one of those in a boxing fight
Nice.
dans les alentours de Montréal, so around the Montreal area.
We're gonna come watch you.
For
We
sure.
have to.
Hopefully,
We have
man.
to.
No, I've been
I
waiting,
hope.
man. I've been waiting. To get back on what you said before about the trainers forging you and creating you, they created a weapon, man. If you're in a UFC fight and you're training for years and to fight, bro, you're a
You're
weapon,
dangerous on the streets. Just fighting. Nowadays, whatever, people have knives and guns, but on a 1v1
saying.
fight, a fighter, these UFC guys are these MMA guys are
Dangerous.
That's
dangerous.
Let me hop in on that. For example, at school or anything, or even in the street, the moment you learn how to defend yourself, let's say you start doing boxing, taekwondo, anything, you understand that the martial arts are a dangerous thing and you could actually really severely hurt someone. And you always try to stay away from it. And it's true. I learned it firsthand. I started doing MMA and I was like, I learned an armbar for the first time. I learned how to kick for the first time correctly. And I was like, okay.
I could really send someone to the hospital.
I did really hurt someone.
Yeah.
So every time someone tries to fight you or anything, you always say back because you understand what to do. You know what to do. You can really hurt someone.
You could take that on both sides. You stay back because you know you could hurt someone.
Exactly.
But other people don't know who you are. They see you quiet kid, good family. You're not cocky. You don't
Exactly.
walk up they don't know you're a fucking weapon.
Exactly.
You could come and you
it's something
could
different,
send
man.
him to the hospital in 5 minutes.
It's crazy. It's the moment you start doing martial arts, especially competitively, the moment you start doing competition, you see a completely different side of how you react around people in an aggressive situation. You're always calm, not always calm, but mostly calm, and you observe the situation better, of course, because you understand the consequences of
Of course, you try
injuring
and
yourself and everything. So yeah.
try and de-escalate the situation
Exactly,
before it gets out of
exactly.
hands, because you know how out of hands it could get. You know.
And I think, if I'm not mistaken, legally, if you get into a fight and outside of your establishment or outside of a tournament, you're technically you could get charged harder
Yeah.
than someone that just
I've
gets
heard
into a street
It
fight.
could happen, but it's a bit of a myth. I don't know the whole story
I've
about
heard
it,
yeah,
but
I think it's. I don't even know if it's a myth, but I've heard
But most of the time, when you start
Yeah.
martial arts, you always stay away from it. And
Okay.
I suggest people watching the podcast, please take my word for it. Do not get into fights outside. It's useless. You're gonna be involved with the law, and it's just a whole situation that's just gonna ruin everything.
or ruins your record, or ruins your name.
It ruins your name for I don't know X, Z, and Y, X, Y, and Z reasons. just don't do it. Stick away from it. If ever you want to fight, come to a gym. Come to a martial arts gym.
If ever you have anger that you want to release,
Exactly.
release
If
it on
you
a
wanna
bike.
learn how to defend yourself, come to a martial arts gym. Of course, Sherbatov is my home. I highly suggest for you to, if you guys are interested, highly suggest you guys to come and try it out. The first group class is free. So we have a wide variety of group classes as MMA, boxing, Muay Thai, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And also, if you're more into I want to learn how to defend myself, I want to have more cardio, let's say, to break more sweat, Then we offer power kickboxing, power boxing, and a total body workout.
No, and these guys, they know what they're doing. I train here, obviously, I'm going to say that, but, you know, Yoni has that experience, right? You know,
course.
in the octagon, in boxing.
Of course, man.
So it's really...
Number one in Canada, undefeated in boxing. He has a big name. Yoni Sherbatov is a big name.
Of course.
And I am...
let's just say, just looking at his social media accounts, I think he has about
around 15,000 followers.
15,000 followers on Insta, you know, for a
big
fighter.
name.
Yeah, exactly. It's a big name, and I am more than grateful to be a part of this team and to be a part of the coaching staff on top of it, because it's a big confidence for someone to let
you're part of the
another
family,
person,
you know?
a person of my age on top of it. I start to
Be a coach.
be a coach, exactly, to train people. I'm grateful. I'm more than grateful for it.
Sure. Yeah. Since you're speaking about the MMA, like, bring us on a more technical side. What are the arts included in MMA?
So MMA, it stands for mixed martial arts.
And what do you
So
specify? And let me just and what do you specify? And like, what are your main arts?
Right now, I'm more of a boxer. I really like my hands. I like punching. For me, my best style is my boxing. As I said, I'm someone who likes to use my hands. But if I have to go on the floor, I am more than capable of doing it to my level right now. If I step in professionally, it's gonna be very hard. But right now, I think I'm capable of doing a good job on the ground. I'm a blue belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, as I said before. So yeah, I'm more than capable to defend takedowns. To if ever I have to have a submission, I could take it. If I have to defend a submission, I could do it. If I have to get back on my feet, I'm more than capable of doing it. In the amateur circuit, of course. At the beginning amateur circuit, because I can't just go challenge a champion right now and say, yeah, I want to fight you, and I'm going to submit you. That's not how it works.
So walk us through the process also, since you're saying that, the process of moving up in this sport, especially in Canada, let's say.
Of course. So basically, anywhere you go, you're not going to start right away as a professional and an amateur, right? So you're going to start by training, and you're going to start by doing the classes, see if you like it first of all, because it's not just about physical preparation, it's also about mental preparation. The mental game is the hardest part about stepping in a ring or in an octagon. It's hard on the mental, because deep down you're like up, you have your ego about, yeah, I'm gonna go in there and I'm gonna beat this guy up, I'm gonna kill this guy. But deep down, it's not that at all. You have your thoughts are saying, what if I lose?
Yeah.
I'm gonna lose, All these stuff in your mind that just brings you down and down and down, and some of them crumble. And you see it while you watch UFC. One of the best ones at making people crumble, Conor McGregor, one of the best ones at doing that. But people saw his game and
adjusted.
Right now, Conor McGregor's in a hard position.
Yeah.
Will he bounce back? I hope so for him. He brought a lot of names to the sport. He brought a big deal to the sport.
He revolutionized the sport, I think.
Exactly.
Personally, yeah.
He brought the sport up. He brought a lot of young kids. He made kids idolize him, which is, I find, perfect, because it brings more people to the sport.
It brings more people to the sport.
It brings more people to the sport that I love, the stuff that I do, and everything. So yeah. So talking about the process. Sorry, about going a bit
off track.
Yeah,
It's
off
alright.
track there. There's so much to talk about in martial arts, even sports in general. If you talk about football or anything, there's always something to talk about. So the preparation basically is for you guys want to know for a fight or just to
let's say now you have your fight right in March. You have what I always find interesting about fights and fighters is their camp. Their is it 3 to 4 months?
It depends.
It depends fighter by fighter, but the camp, the hard work, the dedication, the effort, the waking up early, the training this many times a week, before a fight, how do you get prepared for a fight?
The diet.
So basically right now, I'm in a not pretty hard situation. I'm 19 years old, so I'm in school, as most 19-year-olds and most early adults are in school, right, as of me right now. So I'm at school Monday to Friday from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m., which is hard. I'm not in college where I could have 2 days off and I could come train in the morning.
Yeah, this
I
five
don't have- I'm in
times,
trade
5 days a
school,
week.
so it's 5 times a week, 8 to 3 non-stop for a year and a half, so around 16 months. 2 weeks off winter, 2 weeks off summer, that's all I get, and a few pet days here and there. So how do I find the time to train? It's all about preparation and having a plan. And once again, Yanni and Boris, and even my other coach Sylvain, it's all about preparation, and I find that over here we have such an amazing structure that it brings us to less stress when your preparation. So I finish school and I come here right away to do conditioning training. So I do conditioning 3 times a week, 3-4 times a week, and I have striking the rest of the days. I take 1 day off for myself so I could, recover from. I'm not going to be overexhausted. So sometimes I take 2 days off, just in case I have, let's say, there's 1 week that I have too many stuff to do and everything like that. I'm just exhausted. But I have most of the time it's conditioning 2 times a week. So in terms of cardio and weightlifting, not really like the gain muscle,
But
like
just
to be huge, but endurance. So
okay.
let's say after
Muscle
punch,
endurance,
exactly
yeah.
muscle
Muscle
endurance.
endurance, yeah.
So of course there's the bulking in there as well because you want to be strong. But
Yeah, you want to be strong, but a lot of
Exactly.
these guys you see on TV, the bigger fighters, I look at Cambosis, he's a crazy fighter.
Yeah,
Boxing,
he's tiny.
he's a crazy boxer, but he's not
Yeah,
huge,
but he-
ginormous. But that
He's
guy will.
135 pounds, so
Yeah.
it's all about that. So you also have the diet in there. You have to eat well. The dieting it sucks. It's horrible because let's say you're with your friends. I even did it with you
Yeah, I
guys in the
remember.
summer.
Yeah.
I was preparing for a fight in October, and sadly the guy pulled out. He got injured a week before the fight. I hope the guy's okay. I don't wish anything bad to my opponents. So, because we're all in the same pool here. We all want to make it, and injuries destroy fighters. That's what makes them retire at such a young age as well. So, the dieting part, you have to have a structure, man. You have to be mentally there. You can't just you have your friend eating a nice juicy burger in front of you. It's all about the mental.
Sure.
In my opinion,
it's hard,
during
yeah,
that
of course.
training camp, you have the physical preparation, striking, grappling, conditioning, all that. But there's also the mental part of, can I make this weight? Can I train? Am I able to do those 9 sprints? Am I able to do those 4 sets of squats? Those 4 sets of lunges? This circuit here, this circuit there. So
That's
it's
what I was
all
just
in the
gonna-
mental.
Yeah, I think with any sport, it's all in the
Exactly.
mental.
It's
That's
all
the most
about
important
what happens
part.
in here.
Yeah. Sure.
It's in here because everyone's capable. If you make a monkey do, if you tell a monkey do that, it's gonna do it. If you tell a child to do a front roll, if you show it how to do it, it's gonna do it, right? So everything happens in your head. It's like when you're I don't know, like when you're swimming and you're scared of drowning, it's all in your head. If you're
course,
scared of
yeah.
something, you're gonna get hurt. If you're scared to get hurt, you're gonna get hurt. You know what I mean? So
So do you consider yourself strong in terms of sports psychology, like morale? There's always a personal question that I've always wanted to ask you the last couple of years.
yeah,
You haven't fought in a serious fight yet, right?
I've done one.
But it was boxing.
Yeah,
I'm saying.
of course the competitions. Of course, it's all serious to me because it's
No, of course,
it's something
yeah, no,
that
I misphrased it.
yeah, no,
Misphrased it.
it's all something that all these little amateur stuff is what it's your CV. Everything you do in the amateur circuit, whether it's jiu-jitsu competitions, Muay Thai fights, kickboxing fights, boxing or MMA fights, it's your CV that professional companies, the regional companies,
Okay.
and the worldwide
For
companies
sure.
see, right?
Of course, yeah.
So, am I mentally there? Is that your question?
Like in terms of sports psychology, are you strong? And there was one question that I've always wanted to ask you. What if you go into a fight like that and you get knocked out early? I know it's on a personal.
Yeah, how will that affect
How will
you?
that affect you? Are you the type of guy to get back up right after that, leave it behind? Because I know personally, me, something happened like that in football, first game of the season, I get knocked out, a concussion, I'd be crushed for the rest of the season. My morale would shoot down. Are you the type of guy to step back up and be the same and train the same way?
I've never been knocked out, but I've been dropped. By dropped, I mean I got punched and I fell. I've been finished with body shots It happens. It happened a few times. I'm still training. I've never been knocked out cold, so I can't answer that question correctly.
I'm seeing in terms of morale more.
My head is telling me yes, but I don't know because I never lived it yet.
Okay.
I am hoping that it will never happen.
No, of course.
But if it does, it's part of the sport. But we're working a lot on defense. We're working a lot for that not to happen. So
Because the most important thing there is if you ever do get knocked, is how you react after that. You know,
it's how you
some
it's
people
how you come back.
are never gonna fight again in their lives.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like it's happened. It's happened to some people. They lost and they retired right away. They couldn't take it anymore. The pressure they had,
Especially if you're a favorite. Especially if you're a favorite in a fight, you know.
They had their high peak and they lost and they just went to the bottom.
Of course.
Like I know these big fighters.
Yeah, like, everyone loves you till you lose, right? So, on the professional circuit, take for example the UFC, if you lose your fight one day, everyone's gonna love you until you lose.
Until you lose.
Till you lose, then you're gonna see who's really there for you. And so far, I could say that whoever's with me is still with me. Like you guys, you guys are still here.
Oh, of course.
And everyone else,
team
my
here,
family,
yeah.
of course, is very supportive.
Even the team here, you know.
The team here is even more than supportive.
It's your second family.
Exactly. We group and we find a different solution. We find solutions to any type of loss, any type of even if we win, we find a solution to what we did
How to
wrong.
get better, yeah.
How to get better.
Always how to get better, you know.
Exactly. So to come back to your question, my body's telling me yes, I will get back up, but I can't really answer that question because it never happened to me, right? So.
Of course.
But yeah.
But you know yourself.
Exactly. I know myself. I think I'd get back up.
Yeah.
I'd get
I
back
think so too. Speaking of family, before, how do you think your family, your personal family, your parents, let's say, your brother, what's their opinion on you doing this?
Yeah, what are they
sport?
saying?
What's like?
Obviously, your mom is probably a bit. I don't know. You explain it to us.
So my mom, Gigi, my
Shout
number
out
one
Gigi.
fan. Honestly, I can't ask anything more from her. She's a mom. She's in the medical field, so she likes it, but she doesn't really like it at the same time.
Of course.
When I was in my competition, I remember her telling me I started tearing up of how happy I saw you.
Yeah.
So that actually warmed my heart to see them.
That's
like
crazy.
just to have my family there.
Of course.
Of course, it did something to me. It warmed my heart.
For sure.
Just have your family there, and then now in March you're gonna have your friends there.
Exactly.
So,
it was I was in Quebec City. So just to know that I have people behind me, my mom, my dad, my brother, my girlfriend. My girlfriend's parents were there as well. My brother's girlfriend was there as well, and her family.
Of course.
So I have such a supportive background
It's
behind
warming,
me.
you know. It's
For sure.
It boosts you.
Yeah.
I find so. Coming back to if my mom likes it, she likes it, but she always has the smarter opinion on it, like the more sophisticated answer to about injuries. Let's say, if I get knocked out or a big concussion, it could end it right there. Of course, it's not something that she's gonna like to hear. Sorry, mom, but it's in the sport. It happens.
It's part of the sport, yeah.
It's part of the sport.
Exactly, yeah.
My hands are up. My guard is up. I'm not scared of it. I'm not scared of it. Because the less I think about it, the less I know what's gonna happen. So
Of course, you can't think of it.
don't worry about. I'm not. It's not something that. Of course, I worry about it, but it's not something that's gonna happen. Hopefully, but she's always told me that I will let you do whatever you want, whatever. If I want to be in, for example, a professional fighter, but she knows I want to be a professional fighter. It's my dream. She told me I want a diploma. Okay. Do whatever you want. I'm not asking you to go to university, become a doctor or a lawyer or a judge or anything.
Get a backup
She
plan.
wants me to be
A plan
happy.
B, exactly.
She wants me.
A backup plan, yeah.
She wants me to be happy. She wants me to wake up and to have opportunity. And my father, my brother, my whole family they all have the same answer as well. They're all in that mindset that you always have to have something. And that's what I'm doing. I'm respecting, and also for me too, I have that same thing. I find that school comes first. Of course, having an education nowadays is the most important thing ever.
Yeah.
You have to have an education, so to go anywhere.
For sure.
So they're very supportive.
Oh, it's good.
They're very supportive, and we have a plan together, family wise, and we have so far we're on the good track.
That's good. I like to
We're
hear
on the
that.
good track.
You were talking about the goals before, you know. So what's the main goal now?
The main goal right
The
now.
main goal, if you had your dream, right? What's your dream?
So right now, I have a little plan in my head that I talked with one of my coach Sylvain, and that's something that we kept personal, and we're talking about it and everything. It's just a little idea. We're just talking about it fast, as a joke sometimes.
Yeah.
About the Olympics, the Olympic Games, maybe Paris, the next Summer Olympics. Is it something that interests me? At the beginning, I didn't want to know nothing about going to the Olympics.
Okay.
In my head, I'm going straight professional and that's it. But
Well, what's better marketing than the Olympics?
exactly, I talked to my mom about it too. My mom was like, "C'est les Jeux Olympiques." What do you
Exactly, it's
like?
the Olympics.
It's
you know?
the Olympic Games. It's, of course, it's something that interests me, but am I gonna go for it? I hope so.
You'll see then.
We'll see then.
Future.
We're in 2022 now. It's in 2 years. We have a long process to do. With COVID, it didn't help, of course. It brought the process down.
Sure.
But as I said before, I had more time to train, more time to prepare, and but my main goal right now is to win fights,
gain that experience. Yeah.
gain ring experience, get the most amount of fights possible I could get, without putting my body in danger, and doing anything dangerous. In the fact that I can injure myself and end it right there.
Of course.
But the main goal is, the realistic goal is to make it professional. The dream goal is to become world champion. Whether it's in the UFC, whether it's in one championships in Asia, Bellator, PFL.
Nice.
I'm gonna go to the place where they treat me the best.
Of course. Yeah.
Because we can't forget, fighting is a business.
Yeah.
The UFC is a business. It's a company. The UFC is a company, and I'm gonna go where they treat me right. I'm not fighting. I'm not putting myself in danger. I'm not fighting for money, but at the same time, it's a job.
Oh,
Sure.
of course. It
It's
has
a
to pay
job,
the bills,
so
you know.
It has to pay the bills.
If you drop everything else and fight,
So,
expect to get something worth
If
your
I'm
time.
gonna have that opportunity, because it's gonna happen, hopefully. If I make it professional, it's gonna happen. That you're gonna get a contract from the UFC. Let's say you're in the regional circuit. You have, let's say, 9 fights in the regional circuit. You become champion in that, and you defend your belt 3-4 times. So you have a good record, a few fights in the regional circuit. Boom, you get the call from Dana White or Sean Shelby or anyone like that. And how would you like to fight in the UFC? But then I get a call from PFL, LFA, or the bigger, right under the UFC, I should say, right under UFC, Bellator and 1. Where am I gonna go? I'm gonna go to LFA and PFL. Why? Because I'm not gonna. A lot of people get the call from the UFC and are like, boom, right there, I'm going there. What happens? They get completely destroyed.
Because they're not
Why?
experienced enough.
Exactly.
Okay.
Nine professional fights. Let's say, no, not even 9. 9, you're not even getting a call from Dana White. Let's say 15 professional fights. I don't know, something like that. You haven't gained enough experience, in my opinion, unless you've done, let's say, professional boxing. You went to the Olympics.
Yeah.
You have, let's say, 10, 15 fights in boxing. Then, of course, go for it. But if if you have only, let's say, 10 to 15 fights in MMA professionally, and you want to go straight to the UFC, in my opinion, gain your experience, win, lose if ever you lose, win, lose, get that experience in the bigger circuits than the regional ones, and then make that jump to UFC.
Okay. Awesome.
Then make the jump. So personally, I would go to a company like LFA, where that they produce a lot of UFC fighters, a lot of UFC champions on top of it.
LFA is a league underneath.
Yeah, it's not really underneath. It's still a professional league. It's professional MMA, but it's less recognized. Like the UFC are a multi-millionaire company.
Yeah.
Like ONE FC have Demetrius Johnson and everything like that.
Yeah, of course.
It's the up and comings. It's the up and comers,
Okay,
basically.
yeah.
Where when they're done with LFA and they're done with those organizations, they make the jump. I find that making the jump is towards, let's say, prime of career.
The jump to UFC.
Exactly,
Okay.
prime to end. Like Michael Chandler. Take the
Okay.
example of Michael Chandler. The guy got his experience in Bellator. He won, he lost. He won the belt, he lost the belt. He won the belt back again. Went to the UFC. I think his second fight, he got a title shot. He showed that he could compete.
Okay, yeah.
For sure.
And he's still young. He's 30-something years old. And he has that ton of experience. Charles Oliveira, the lightweight champion, has been in the UFC for, I don't know, like 15 years, something like that. He just touched the gold. He just touched gold. He kept losing and winning and losing and winning. Brandon Moreno, flyweight champion, got cut from the UFC. If I'm not mistaken, he went to LFA, got his experience, and now he was the flyweight champion.
He was, yeah.
And in my opinion, Brandon Moreno will get that belt again.
Well, I think he won that fight, but that's beyond the...
That's the judges.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to comment on that fight. But I feel that he will touch gold again. And it's smart what he did. Went down, didn't give up. He got cut from the big organization, didn't give up, and now he's back. So, yeah.
Sure. I've been hearing a hot topic of the conversation has been how these boxers, these athletes, these MMA fighters especially, are underpaid in their early career. So they're playing on pay-per-view, even though they're not no main fights, no main this. They're putting their lives and their bodies at danger, at risk, and they're getting nothing.
We always hear that especially the UFC, probably because it's the biggest, right? There's always going to be that criticism that the fighters, on fight night, or even the fighters on a fight, on a main event, on a main fight, that they're very underpaid compared to the revenue that's coming in.
You think that's the whole process of becoming a...
Listen, in my opinion, do fighters need to get paid more? Yes, but there's always a but. There's always a but.
Of course.
Take, for example, football. Do you think that a rookie should get paid the $1 million contracts right away? Take, for example, Trevor Lawrence. Would you give Trevor Lawrence, I don't know, a $15 million contract on the table after his second season? With the Jaguars, let's say.
Like, it depends. It depends. There's always a but, like you said.
In my opinion, you sell your fights. Your fights are your resume.
Oh, you're right, yeah.
If you're gonna stand there and point whore, sorry for my language, the whole fight, you're not gonna try to get the finish. I'm sorry, but it is an entertainment business as well.
Yeah.
So you have that factor as well too.
For sure.
Your money is your reward for how you fight.
I'm saying while on the come up,
exactly.
on the come up,
you're not gonna get paid. It's like a normal job. You start at like $30 an hour if you're lucky, and then you go up, right? At one point, you
but
reach
the
a
difference
max.
is you could seriously get hurt. You're not working at an office.
Yeah,
I know.
but that's the risk that these fighters.
Exactly.
They know that they're taking that risk.
Exactly.
So
they sign the contract.
Even though we see that the fighters are underpaid, there's still fighters that are signing with the UFC. So the media can say whatever they want, but the UFC is still making money, and the fighters are still fighting for the UFC.
Exactly. And the moment you touch gold, the moment you get that name, the moment they start saying, "Oh, you know what? I'm gonna watch this guy fight. Oh, he's fighting again. Let's watch his fight again." the more views you see, the more the paparazzi, if I could say.
Yeah.
The more, let's say, especially with social media nowadays, you're always stuck to it. So the more you pop up, the more they're gonna pay you, right? Because you're a big name. Take for example Conor McGregor.
Yeah, of course. No.
Conor McGregor's first fight in the UFC was in Sweden or something like that. Then he fought Marcus Brimage. I think that's his name. But right away off the bat, he made a scene. He made a scene off the bat. He knocked him out. He dominated, finished him. So right away there, he took the mic after, said anything he says.
Yeah.
And
he grew the sport from there,
exactly,
and he got rewarded for it.
He sold tickets.
Yeah.
He sold tickets. It's like in hockey, Connor McDavid. The guy sells tickets.
Yeah.
So the guy gets paid more. Why? Because he sells tickets.
So you disagree with the fact that these athletes are complaining that they're underpaid this time?
Yes and no. Yes and no.
Okay.
Yes and no.
It depends.
If you're gonna sit there,
Yeah, of course.
take for example, I'll give a perfect example. Jon Jones.
Yeah.
Okay?
Jon Bones
The
Jones.
guy has done multiple stuff that one are illegal, two that his credibility is completely gone.
Illegal, you mean
by-
like substance use
Yeah,
and
by
stuff like
failed
that?
drug tests,
PEDs.
PEDs, anything, cocaine too. Like I hit a pregnant woman and ran. Like
Yeah, it's just-
it's stuff like that, and now he's
That ruin your career. That
Ruin
ruin
your
your
name.
name, your brand, your image.
I'm not trying to shit talk, but and now he wants to get paid more, but you brought all that.
You did all that to ruin
You
your
did all
brand.
that.
Brought all those problems that
And now-
you're representing. At the end of the day, you're representing
Exactly.
the UFC, and
Don't get me wrong.
You're an
Don't
employee
get
for
me
the
wrong.
UFC.
Jon Jones is retardedly amazing.
yeah,
He is, in my opinion, one of the greatest of all time. But I'm sorry, but if a person who cheats like that and does stuff like that and then wants to get paid more, you have to prove yourself a lot before someone can pay you more.
yeah. You
But
don't
right
deserve
now,
it.
he's on the rise up. He's going to heavyweight division. Let's see what he does. If Dana's going to pay him more, I don't know. That's not in my discretion. But the fighter pay is a big topic of conversation that we can't really know about because we're not in those contracts.
No, we
So-
don't know what the contracts are about.
know,
then.
we-
We don't
clauses
know
are-
exactly. We don't know the clauses about. But another thing that of course, it's cool, but it sucks at the same time, is the UFC sponsor with Venom. Let's say that they only have the Venom sponsorship. So that of course cuts the pay a lot because you
Yeah.
don't have your own sponsors. I find it's cool to have your own sponsors because you bring
Of course, yes.
your package with you. Like for example, if I were to put the serious business on my shorts, let's say, I would bring you guys with me in that octagon. I'd be representing you guys as well. If I have, I don't know, Old Spice on my shorts or anything, Apple on my shorts.
Man, re-explaining that
I'm bringing
athletes
that.
can't have their own sponsors in the UFC?
Not
They're
in the
only,
UFC, no.
They're only sponsored by the club, the organization
I
sponsors.
think so. If I'm
They're
not mistaken,
not,
yes. But
on
if
their
you look
shorts,
on
they're
their
not
shorts,
allowed. They're only
not
allowed
allowed.
what the UFC allows.
So
them.
on fight
it's like a
night-
uniform.
On
Yeah.
fight night, they can't have no sponsors on them.
Not
They
their
have
own.
the UFC attire.
Can they have publicity on the side? Can they be part of commercials on the side? Obviously.
Yes, obviously they
Pretty
can.
sure.
They
Yeah,
can.
McGregor,
I'm just saying
They
on
can.
the
Honestly,
shorts, you know.
But on
Yeah,
the
on the
shorts,
Shorts when
on
you're
their
fighting,
appearance,
it's
on fight night,
UFC,
It's UFC gear.
uniform.
if you go to one championships, you'll see they have a bunch of stuff.
Okay.
Bellator, same thing, have a bunch of stuff
Yeah.
on their shorts. It's their sponsors.
I just thought of it. I've never seen a UFC fighter on a TV commercial. Only McGregor, and he was publicizing his
Well, look,
alcohol.
McGregor, yeah, he has his own alcohol, so I think you can. I think you can do certain advertisements outside,
That's what I'm saying.
outside of the ring.
I'm just saying, even like the bigger
But
names. I've
there's
never
obviously
seen
stuff in the contract that you have to follow. You know, I don't know. Like,
Exactly.
you know,
So the
contract
topic,
by heart.
the topic of fighter pay is something we can't really talk about. We can hypothesis about it,
And-
hypothesize about it,
Yeah.
but we can't really
Can't really talk about it.
can't really talk
And
about
one guy that really brings it up, you know, every week is Jake Paul. You know, we were gonna have to discuss this guy at one point
You
during
think he's a
during this.
clown? You think this guy could
You
actually?
think he's a clown or he's serious? Who is Jake Paul? What is Jake Paul? Is he living
Paul-
up to his name?
Think he'd survive in the octagon?
Will he survive in the octagon?
Jake Paul is a YouTuber. who has a brother named Logan Paul. He's a YouTuber. Don't get me wrong, the guy. You can't hate the guy.
He's done okay so far.
You can't hate the guy. Why? Because it takes a lot of balls to step into a boxing.
Oh, of course, yeah.
It takes a lot of balls to call out names like Canelo Alvarez.
Bro, man,
To call out
Mayweather.
names like Mayweather.
Look,
to call out
he's
names
calling-
like McGregor.
Is he
everything.
calling out those names because he actually thinks he's gonna win it, or is he calling out those names in order for his name to?
But just to say that name. Just
course.
to say the name.
But I can go tomorrow and
Canelo.
say I want to fight Conor McGregor. You know?
Yeah, but to say it
Am
on
I actually gonna
national
sign a
TV
contract with Conor McGregor? You know?
To say it on national TV
Like-
is a different story. But also another thing, Jake Paul, the guy. Do I like him? No, never did. Even
I
when
want
was
to
a
see him
kid.
get knocked out.
Even
wanna
when
see
I
him
was
get
a
knocked
kid,
out.
when I used to watch YouTube, I would not watch him. I would watch like KSI and all that.
Yeah, of course.
Like I'd watch the Sidemen, and I still do. But talking about Jake Paul, this
You're never
guy,
a real big fan of him. That's what you're
never.
saying. Even
But
younger. Me too.
I don't hate the guy. I don't like the guy. I just nah.
Yeah, and a lot of people are saying, you know, his fights, he hasn't fought real boxers. He's fought UFC. He's fought retired UFC fighters. This
They
that.
are- they have, but they are still professional fighters.
They're still professional, yeah, of course.
And when did this guy start? A year, 2 years ago? 2 years ago?
Don't get me wrong.
2, 3.
Look, I envy Jake
2
Paul.
years ago, yeah. I
Don't
think
get me
so.
wrong. I envy him. I actually respect because he actually puts in the work.
No, he puts in the
work.
work,
He does.
but that's what
He
his
puts in the
job
work,
is, right? That's
and-
what it's. His job is to train for the fight. He's doing that. That's what his job is, you know. All his dedication, his motivation is on that. He's doing this every single day of his life.
Yeah, exactly.
So 2
Look,
years of doing that is obviously gonna get you a lot more experience than
Exactly.
if you're doing this on the side as a side
Exactly.
thing. You know?
And being a loudmouth and calling out these big names helps your image.
Oh, of course
And
it
it helps
helps.
your pockets.
Yeah.
Even if you're not fighting them, you're not making that. Just the advertisement,
Just
the hype
yeah, of
around
course,
this
yeah,
is
the
attracting
hype just
media, is
brings you money,
attracting
of
this,
course,
that.
yeah.
It's bringing you money.
Jake Paul's name, you know, a lot. My dad had no idea who Jake Paul was. Now he knows.
Yeah,
He sees him on social media saying stupidities, but stupidities that at the end of the day are a great marketing opportunity for him.
it's entertainment, man. It's
of course.
entertainment. That's what
Yeah,
it is.
exactly.
It's
At the end of the
entertainment.
day, it's
Coming
entertainment.
back to that, anything that hops on TV these days is entertainment. Anything. So what he does is entertainment.
Even serious business podcasts, but at the end of the day,
At the end of the day, it's
for
entertainment.
It's all
bro.
entertainment, man. It's all entertainment. So yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man.
Oh, but I think. Is there anything else you guys want to add?
Coming back, I'll hop on the topic of fighting again. About entertainment. You know, there's some guys that like the dog fights. You know, like they go in there to beat the shit out of each other.
I love the
Like,
dog fights.
Exactly.
Tom knows that YouTube channel.
You know,
the street beefs.
Tell me you know that YouTube channel, Street
I
Beefs.
know.
Oh my
That's
God.
the funnest shit to watch, bro. I love watching that.
Going back to what you asked me before, talking about myself, about fighting and everything, what type of fighter I am. I like it. I like punching and receiving them.
Aggressiveness.
I like the aggressive. The adrenaline is just it's.
So you're not you're not a
mind-blowing.
conservative. Are you a conservative boxer or?
I could say yes, but if ever I have an opening to be the aggressor, I'll
do it.
take it.
You'll take the opportunity
I'll
right away.
take it like this. But it's also IQ. It's
The mental
all
game.
about experience as well.
Yep.
If ever you see the person is hurt, you throw a left hand, let's say. For me, it's a left hand because I'm a lefty. But you throw that straight and you see it hurt the person.
You don't stop there.
You become a different you become a different breed because you see the person's hurt and you just
Flips a switch on your head and just.
you flip the switch, but some people flip the switch and they don't do it intelligently. They just go and they start like this. They start swinging, and what happens to them? They get caught and they get dropped.
Yeah, it's one hit. At the end of the day, it's one punch. That
Exactly.
Can,
So you have to think about it on the more strategic way. You have to be the aggressor strategically. You have to know what you're doing when you see the person's hurt. You go for the finish strategically. So yeah, that's all I have to add on that. I forgot to say before.
I agree with
that's
that.
all right. I think we had a pretty deep
good
conversation.
conversation.
Yeah.
You know, it was good.
Honestly, don't know
We've
much.
been talking.
I don't know how much time it's been. That's all
I think we've been talking for 40, 45 minutes.
Yeah?
man. Yeah.
Makes sense.
It was good.
Good, man.
Passed
We
pretty
went through
quick.
a lot
you
of
know?
things.
I
Yeah.
learned. I've always wanted to ask you these questions. You know.
Yeah.
And
Good,
just,
man. I'm happy to
I'm
be here.
interested. I'm interested in the sport.
Of course,
I
I'm
don't know
happy to
that
be here, and anytime you guys want me on the show, you guys know I'm more than happy to hop on.
Of
course.
Talk to you guys about stuff I love.
Everything,
So, yeah.
well, of course.
Thanks, man.
Thank you
you
for
so
having
much,
me.
bro.
Got you.
Thank you, everyone. Again, I want to say thank you to everyone watching the podcast. Thank you to Pete and Tom, who are good friends of mine.
Thank you for the gym for letting us record it
And I
here
want to
again.
say
Sherbatov.
thank you to Sherbatov,
Yoni, Boris, the
Yanni,
owners,
Boris, just the
Vasily,
Sherbatov
Montreal,
family, who are part of my family as well. So I want to say thank you to everyone who brought me up and support me, and also to these guys here who brought me on the podcast. So
and we're gonna support you when you fight.
more than ever. So yeah, I'm grateful for this.
Perfect.
Thank you guys.
That wraps it up.
Okay, guys, peace.